Welcome to The Explainer. We're all about taking big ideas and making them simple and, more importantly, useful for you. Think about that for a second. What if your biggest roadblock wasn't something out there, but something in here? Well, today, we're going to dive right into that exact question by looking at one person's incredible transformation. All right, so let me introduce you to Ashish. He's this ambitious bank manager, a guy who, on paper, has it all figured out. But on the inside, he felt like he was constantly hitting this invisible wall of self-doubt. And you can see it right here. On the one hand, his reality, he's a capable manager, opportunities are popping up all the time, he has these big goals. But his internal belief, the story he's telling himself, is the complete opposite. I'm not good enough, someone else can do it better. He was so sure he'd fail that he didn't even try. And look, this wasn't just a bad day feeling. It became this whole pattern that was just holding him back. So, how do you even begin to change something like that? Well, for Ashish, his whole journey kicked off when he stumbled upon a book that basically gave him a completely new way to think. It was Believe in Yourself by Joseph Murphy. In this book, he learned about the subconscious mind, and you can think of it like this powerful engine, or maybe like a computer's operating system. It doesn't really argue or judge. It just executes whatever commands you give it. You feed it instructions, and it works to create a reality based on those instructions. No questions asked.
And reading this quote was his big aha moment. It just clicked. He realized he'd spent years feeding that powerful subconscious engine a steady diet of junk food. All these negative limiting beliefs. He was basically programming his own operating system for failure, without even knowing it.
So, Ashish decides to run a little experiment on himself. The question was simple. Could he consciously overwrite that old, buggy programming with new, empowering thoughts? Could he actually change the code? And he started with something really simple. Every time an automatic negative thought popped into his head, he would just replace it. So, what if I fail? Became, every failure is a step towards success. Instead of letting that doubt just run wild, he started to consciously choose a different story to tell himself. Okay, so then comes the first real test. A new high-risk project gets announced at the bank. His first instinct? You guessed it, that old fear and doubt come rushing back. But this time, instead of letting it take over, he consciously repeats his new affirmation, I am a great leader. And you know what? He actually speaks up in the meeting, presents his ideas with this newfound confidence. Management is blown away, and bam, they make him the project lead. Just like that, his reality started to change to match his new belief.
And that first win, that was just the beginning. It was like the first domino to fall. It started this whole transformation that didn't just stay inside his head. It actually started to ripple out and affect the people around him.
So get this, a junior colleague, this guy Rohit, comes to him and starts talking about his own struggles with self-doubt. He's convinced he can't get ahead. And Ashish must have been thinking, wow, that was me, like last month. He basically saw his old self standing right in front of him. And listen to what he tells him. Your beliefs shape your reality. If you tell yourself you can do it, your mind will behave accordingly. I mean, this is what's so wild, right? The guy who was drowning in doubt is now the one teaching someone else about the power of self-belief. He wasn't just thinking differently anymore, he was living it. And in that moment of giving advice, it's like a mirror was held up to him. He realized he'd actually become the person he always wanted to be. The change wasn't just some mental exercise anymore, it was real. It was in his actions, it was in his leadership. Okay, so now he's got this newfound confidence. He's feeling good, but he was about to face even bigger challenges, the kind that would really test this new belief system to its absolute core. And this is where he learned something absolutely crucial. Belief isn't just a passive thing you have in your head. You have to act on it. You have to act as if you've already achieved your goal. It's like you have to behave like the person you want to become, even when you don't feel 100% ready. There was this analogy in the book that really stuck with him about two birds. You've got the fearful bird, right? It just clings to the branch it knows, too scared to even try. Then you have the courageous one. It spreads its wings, takes that leap of faith. Yeah, it might fall a bit at first, but eventually it learns to fly and reaches amazing new heights. Ashish had to decide, which bird was he going to be? So he chose to be the courageous bird. He takes on this huge challenge, turning around an underperforming bank branch. And instead of just marching in there and barking orders, he asked the team, what do you think needs to change? He taught them the exact same stuff he'd learned about belief and affirmations. They even started this daily ritual of saying their strengths and goals out loud. And the result? The branch went from the bottom of the barrel to one of the bank's top performers.
He basically proved that this faith in yourself, this thing that quote calls a natural gift, is the force that lets you conquer anything. Real growth, it turns out, comes from taking that leap, from jumping off the branch even when you're not 100% sure your wings will work.
But wait, because Ashish's story doesn't end there, not even close. This new mindset didn't just make him a better manager, it opened up a door to a future that the old Ashish would have never, ever dared to even imagine.
He gets to a point where he realizes his potential is way bigger than his corporate job. So what does he do? He resigns. He leaves that stable, high-paying career behind and partners with a friend to launch a fintech startup. Talk about a leap of faith. And through all the insane challenges of being an entrepreneur, he used those same tools, affirmations, visualization, to build what eventually became a nationally recognized, super successful company.
And here's the absolute key takeaway. His entire world, everything on the outside, only changed after he changed his internal world first. The success of that startup, yeah, the business plan was probably good, but it was really built on a foundation of just unshakable self-belief.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Success doesn't start from the outside, it starts from within. Our reality is literally just a reflection of what we believe deep down. We are the architects of our own minds, and the world we build in there is the one we end up living in out here.
I mean, think about it. Ashish's story shows us that our greatest power is the ability to consciously choose what we believe about ourselves. He went from being this guy trapped by his own doubt to a visionary leader just by changing his mind. He didn't wait around for someone else to tell him he was good enough. He decided it for himself.
And that really leaves us with the big question. For you, what's that one belief, that one story you tell yourself, that if you changed it today, could transform your entire world? What's holding you back? And what are you going to choose to believe instead?